Welcome to this week's episode of Lagnapod. I'm Rob Holbert, your host. Several folks here. Y'all introduce yourselves this morning.
Ashley Trice.
Grant McLaughlin.
Scott Johnson.
Kyle Hamrick.
All right. Tommy Hicks is on assignment out west somewhere. We've got, Scott, you have a really interesting cover story this week. One that is, it really, I mean, for a lot of families, I think this stuff is pretty shocking and heartbreaking for some folks who are dealing with very difficult circumstances already. And this is a really great look into how, I guess, maybe the state's efforts to possibly reel in some costs are really hitting people in particular.
Yeah, and this is involving children with disabilities or people with disabilities
Right.
Generally. They enroll in a program that's available through Medicaid. It's called the waiver program.
Yeah.
Essentially, it's more economical to keep children at home, to keep loved ones at home, than to send them to facilities where they're cared for. So to defer those costs, they'll actually allow them to sign a waiver. So regardless of income, they say, we're actually saving money if you keep your child at home.
Right.
And they will actually pay the families to take care of the families at home instead of institutionalizing them. So that's what these waivers are for. So people traditionally who would not apply for Medicaid actually apply for it and are eligible. Over the last year, and there has been what they call it the waiver community. There's about 12 to 15,000 families on this waiver in Alabama. And over the last year, that community has really seen an uptick in the amount of what's a good word? The goalposts have been moved farther out. There's a higher barrier of entry. There's more paperwork.
They're seeing themselves rejected from things that they've been getting for years.
More denies.
And I mean, some of these folks have had their children on these programs for over a decade.
Right.
And they're suddenly seeing that taken away from them. And these are kids. I mean, these are kids, many of whom, or most of whom, the ones you interviewed and ones we know are kids who will need care their whole lives.
Yeah. Nothing's changed about their situation. That's kind of the funny thing about the whole program, how it works, is there's annual redeterminations.
Right.
But some of these kids are permanently disabled, and
Yes.
that's why are we forcing these families through this process?
Well, that's the thing I think your story is getting at, is why is this happening, and what are some of the ways it's happening. I think that's the shocking part, is that people are finding that they're getting documents that are filled out for them.
Yeah, and there's two cases where two families in Fairhope found, after they put their information, they handed over papers to their doctor to fill out, and then
For resubmittal, basically,
Yeah.
resubmission. Yeah.
Yeah, basically just detailing the ailments that the child has, the diagnosis, and then they send them to Medicaid for approval. So between them, the doctors having it and them being denied, they found that their forms had edits made to them, crossing out criteria that basically lowered them below the threshold of eligibility, which meant they got a denial letter shortly afterwards. So, but their doctors didn't make those edits. They didn't make those edits. It looks like their case manager went in and made those edits based on some interpretation, or basically, our program's not interpreting that criteria anymore. That's what it looks like. It appears like they're doing.
It seems like one of the things you're finding, and one of the things that one of the one of the parents you talk to, what they allege is basically that the state is looking at this and saying, if we take this away, these people probably aren't going to put their kids in an institution. Yeah. So if we take it away, it's just going to fall back on them, and we're not going to have to deal with it.
That's almost exactly what this one of the people I interviewed. This person who he went into his hearing, and with all the jargon, he said that's more or less what they told me, just in a bunch of jargon, was because if we deny you the program, your home situation, et cetera, you're not going to institutionalize your kid anyway.
So we can save money on this end, and we know you're not going to come to the institution and cost us money on the other side. And, it's basically that's where, it does look like this from a lot of these families. It looks like they're looking at it and going, if we this person's going to take care of their kid. This is going to be somebody who's going to do whatever it takes.
Yeah.
But that's not really what the basis of this program is about. Is about offering in some cases a safety net for kids who might, if their parents get hit by a car, where are they going?
Exactly.
That kind of thing. And it's the relative expense, I think, versus being institutionalized is relatively small.
Yeah, it's a fraction of the cost, rather than institutionalizing them.
And if these parents, I know they're not, but if they called their bluff and said, okay, we're institutional, we don't have the infrastructure to take care of these.
Yeah, exactly. That's a shocking bit as well.
Right. They can't, there's nowhere to go anyway. So it's just, it is the state pulling the rug out from under people, and I know that there's certainly a lot of folks who, want to see government spending reduced and waste and fraud reduced. I don't know that this is that. This doesn't look like that. This is people.
A lot of these people have private insurance. This is more of a backup plan for some of them.
But in talking, in one of the letters in response we got, one of the individuals that wrote back to us today was talking about how, their private insurance, their child had such severe issues that their child maxed out on their lifetime benefits by the age of 3.
Yeah.
It's so. There are things here that,
which is an insurance industry problem too. So it's just they're.
Well, it gets back to issues. I know that. I'm not a big fan. I'm certainly not a fan of waste and fraud in government programs, and I'm certainly think that there should be streamlining, and we need to look at how certain things are doled out. But also, is the goal at some point, some of these things, is the goal to take care of people in the country? We do have a wealthy country, and we do live in a country where I think most people don't want to see children with massive medical problems thrown out in the street or dying in institutions away from their families and that kind of thing. It's kind of tough stuff.
And this kind of thing, hits every socioeconomic, it's not, people are like, oh, it's just poor people not wanting to take care. No, it's just like, if you, like the person you were referencing, you have a great job and great insurance, but you max out on your lifetime insurance at 3 years old. And then you have,
kids who
have very expensive medicine. What are you going to do? You would look for every bit of help too. And I would personally rather my tax dollars go to that than to foreign wars and and all of that.
I don't think that those. It is one of those things where you look at it and say, these are issues that even if you were someone who made a very good living.
You could still not afford some.
Probably can't afford to have transplants and medications or, at home care that's 24 hours a day, that kind of stuff. It is, I don't, in reading the story, all you can think about as a parent is like, thank God I don't have to deal with that.
Could I even
handle it? Right. Yeah. So, I think the story has already gotten a lot of traction around. I think it's getting a lot of traction around the state already, and I think maybe even from some legislators who are taking a look at it, and that's just been over a couple of days. So
I hope so.
It's a really good story, and I think it's really something that we needed to shine a light on. You've done a good job with it, Scott.
Thank you.
Let's switch gears to a place that also needs a lot of help. Is Prichard, and that's just. It gets worse and worse every week. The stories just get crazier. So we had a rogue city employee garbage truck driver that just kind of went off the deep end the other day.
Yeah, absolutely bizarre and frightening stuff. We heard Tuesday afternoon, from the mayor of Prichard that a city garbage worker was shot while on the job, sent to the hospital, and our thoughts and prayers are with him for a quick comeback. Then I get to a community meeting on the future of the police department that night, and Sheriff Birch says that, yes, the city the city worker was shot, but that's because he allegedly tried to run a family of 5 off the road in his garbage truck and then tried to shoot them.
Yeah. Yeah. So,
and then they were all armed, apparently.
Yes. Yeah. I mean, So this road rage thing goes down, and this car that has a man and a woman and 3 small kids in it, they get off of the road with the garbage truck guy. The male and the garbage truck guy get into it. And as the guy is walking back to his car, the garbage truck man pulls out a gun.
Allegedly.
All of this is from what the sheriff says.
Right.
The sheriff says this. And so the garbage truck guy pulls out a gun, and then the woman in the other car shoots him before.
So the woman got him.
Yeah. Okay. So the woman shot first, but after the garbage truck guy is hit, he shoots several rounds, what the sheriff says, into the vehicle.
So all 3 adults had guns?
No,
I don't think
just 2.
Okay.
Just 2.
The male
woman
did not.
and the truck driver.
The driver,
Okay.
the driver of the car did not appear to have one. At least he didn't fire one.
Right. Fired.
But she had his back. She got the drop on the garbage can.
She had his 6. And so after the garbage truck guy was hit, the sheriff says that he fired several rounds into the other car where three kids were.
So they're saying this guy gets out of jail, he's getting charged, right?
Gets out of the hospital, he's getting charged. On top of all this, the sheriff said that the garbage truck guy didn't have a valid driver's license and had an active warrant for domestic violence.
Okay.
And this comes in the...
This comes...
On top of that...
On top of that, the city doesn't have an insurance...
The city's insurance policy lapsed the other day.
This weekend, and this dude was one of 2 people working in the sanitation department
like some of the people
for the city.
in Prichard haven't had their garbage picked up in
for weeks.
Yeah.
And so now it's down to just one guy in the trash department at the city of Prichard. And it's just
has anyone checked his outstanding warrants and driver's license status?
They need to
leave him alone.
Leave him alone.
They got to have somebody to pick up the trash. So
this is just insane.
I mean,
stuff.
At this point, you've got the mayor has not shown up to a city council meeting for 50-something days,
40-something
days. She's not showing up. The city council and mayor are involved in lawsuits with one another.
Yeah.
You have, of course, the water board issue is not even on the table at this moment.
That's on the back burner. That's going just over the pot.
That's just a disaster that already happened, and there's no way to fix it at this point. Yeah. But this is just it is a real mess over there. And the sheriff's office is you said you were citing some stats about the number of calls they're making at this point.
Yeah. So in the 49 days that the sheriff has been running the law enforcement in Prichard, they've had over 2,400 calls for service.
Yeah.
Which is like 49.4 calls every day. And this is 33% of all the calls that the sheriff gets from the entire county are coming from Prichard. A third of the calls are coming from Prichard.
So you went to the meeting last night. This is the weird. Yeah. This was Tuesday night.
Yeah.
And we're recording this Wednesday. You went there on Tuesday night. And at the end of the meeting, State Representative Napoleon Bracey got up and talked.
Yes.
And what did he have to say about all of this?
He repeated the comments that he made in a statement to his social media where he thought the arrest of Chief Walter Knight on charges of double dipping for funeral processions was too much. He said that's excessive, and there are all kinds of cops in the county who work side jobs.
Okay.
And that's fine. So while he's doing his speech there, Captain Terry Hall from MCSO grabs a microphone and says, "So when do we hold our officials accountable for their actions?" And she asks that, and Bracey says, "Well, I have the microphone now. I am speaking," and finishes his speech. After that, Hall grabs the microphone back and says, "Yes, cops all over the county have side jobs, but quote, they're not double dipping.
Right.
And it was something else.
At some point,
Sheriff Birch walked out of
he
this.
said the sheriff got up and walked out.
Bracy got up there. He walked out. He left the building.
Bracy doesn't think any of this stuff should have happened. You said he thought that officers that they didn't get paid enough and needed to find different ways to make money, right?
Yes. Yeah. He said that the sheriff of Prichard, the chief of Prichard, is a $60,000 per year job.
Okay.
And that he has to get up every time there's somebody who's shot in the city. It's not an 8 to 5 job.
Yeah. Right.
It's something that you can't turn off.
Right.
And he thought that there would be more information in the indictment. That he said, quote, that he thought there's going to be some cocaine or guns or bodies.
Had he heard something?
I don't know.
No, I guess he was just like he was saying like what he was just like he thought with the way they
there would be
acted.
more.
Yeah.
He thought there'd be more.
Well, I mean,
which is an ongoing thing.
I get it, and I mean, I think you made a good point Sunday brunch a few weeks. I mean, I think you reran that column, but I mean, Tony Kennon can get away with much more in Orange Beach than this guy seems to have been doing, but it still doesn't make it right. Two wrongs don't make it right.
It doesn't.
Yeah.
Right.
It is a real mess over there.
Yeah.
But
and all of this, and the mayor still has to figure out what to do with the police department.
Right.
If it should be dismantled and rebuilt, or if they should just clean house, keep the department, and fill it with new people.
Yeah.
I mean, is anyone going to want to work there? I mean, are they going to be able to pay them on a regular basis?
Well, they're going to have to raise the pay because apparently cops in Prichard are making $17 an hour right now. Yeah. And, I don't believe there's any kind of benefits that come with it. Like I don't think they have a state retirement thing.
I mean, can the sheriff's office hire them to basically continue, or some of them at least? I'm sure
they could. I'm sure that could be on the table, but I mean, they're going to have to come up with a whole new plan for the police department in Prichard if they want to keep it. So, it's going to have to be a whole new approach to law enforcement.
It's hard to look at Prichard and not see it and say the dissolution of the city is imminent to me.
But then what happens? I mean, it gets
sucked into the county and the county has to deal with it in some capacity. I mean, they've talked about the water system being in the neighborhood of $200 million to fix. That's just
and they want Moz to take it over, but I don't believe that Moz is jumping up and down to get it.
Well, when they were trying to get it before, it got blocked, and it is
what a mess.
It is a tremendous mess.
Yeah.
Which we do not have an answer for right now. We're just reporting it, but we'll continue to do so. We're going to take a quick break, and we will come back and talk with Grant about some vehicles over in Baldwin County. We'll be right back. And we are back. Ashley, I think you had something you wanted to talk about real quick.
Well, no, I was just going to wish Grant a happy birthday.
Oh, happy birthday, Grant.
He is a 27-year-old man.
These are the warmest. This is really something.
He is
I know where I was going. I was going to head a different direction.
Take her off your list of people to eulogize you. He was a 75-year-old.
This is what we
man.
need. That
man
who enjoys poetry and typewriter repairs and oysters and
overpriced art.
Okay.
Yeah. Anyway, no, I'll say
highly valued art.
Yeah. Rob and I were at a breakfast this morning for the Rotary Club, and one of the members asked us what we drank before the podcast. So I thought that I felt like the first segment was a little it didn't quiet.
live up to that.
I know.
Yeah.
So maybe we can make this one.
We had some coffee to drink.
We'll do our
nice
best.
Sober coffee.
Yeah. Anyway, I just wanted to say happy birthday to the man, the myth, the legend, Grant.
There we go. High on Grant's brownies right now. All right, so Grant, let's talk about this vehicle situation over there in Baldwin County. So you got a tip that, hey, one of the county commissioners has been getting a new fancy vehicle every 2 or 3 years.
This is true.
So you looked into it. What did you find?
Yeah, well, I'll back it up. I kind of called horse hockey. And I was like, I don't know if that's true. That sounds odd. But when I got my records request back, I was like, oh, nope, show is. You know, so Billy Joe Underwood has gotten 4 county vehicles for roughly $226,000 since taking office. That was paid for by the county.
Yes.
And in total, the commission's gotten 8 vehicles in the last 10 years. And
she got some people on the commission who are driving the wheels off these things for a while. You know, they're driving them for a long time. She, on average, has gotten a new one every 3 years, right?
Yeah, and so it's basically, it's common for whenever there's a new term, an incumbent could get a new vehicle.
Right.
But she, this year, has very clearly jumped the gun. She is still running for re-election against Roy Browning in November. And she justified this year's purchase on that it would have been more expensive. Like it would have been like $5,000 or ish more expensive later in the year. And then if they had went ahead and purchased it now, according to several vehicle manufacturers. But it
would have been $5,000 more expensive to buy a new vehicle.
I think that was one of the numbers that were thrown out.
The vehicle that she had was going to cost them $5,000 more. It was she was going to, if they bought her a new vehicle at this time, it would be better than buying it
in like
later.
August or in
other
September.
Words, let's get my new car now. But what is it that has she said why she needs a new car every 3 years?
No, she has not. You know, I was really hoping that she would call me back. You know, I tried to get in touch with her.
Yeah.
County officials that I spoke to said she's going to have to speak for herself.
Yeah.
And when challenged publicly twice during a July 21st meeting, she just sat there and said nothing.
Yeah.
I believe during the work session she did say, you know, we can take it off of our consent agenda. So it wasn't even going to be discussed during the meeting. It was going to be voted on with a package of roughly 3 dozen other items that they do not discuss, and then she agreed to pull it out. Yeah. But she did not ever at any point say why she needed a new one, or disclose publicly how much she's driven on her other vehicle that she had.
So these vehicles are not supposed to be driven for public, like your private stuff. You're not supposed to have a county car and take it home and just get to use it to go pick up the kids and get groceries and do all that kind of stuff.
And they are part-time commissioners, correct?
They are.
Yes, they are part-time commissioners, and I'm not trying to throw Skip Gruber under the bus here, but he did say that it was fine to take it to the grocery store and pick something up and go home.
Well, I mean,
the county officials that I spoke to said that was not okay to do.
I could see that, like, hey, it's on the way home. I'm not really getting any more mileage.
Right,
you know, stopping. I don't think anybody's going to nail you to a tree on that kind of thing. But if these vehicles are supposed to be used for public business and not supposed to be used for your private stuff, just driving around, then, you look at the mileage, and you did look at the mileage, and you see that there are some people who have a lot more mileage than others,
yes,
right? Yeah.
So,
it was Billy Joe, not Billy Joel. Billy Joe. Was she one of them?
Yeah, so Billy Joe Underwood and Skip Gruber, who represent District 3 and 4 of the commission, they report using their vehicles the most mileage. Skip Gruber had slightly more than she did.
Yeah.
So over the last 10 years, he's had somewhere over 100,000 miles.
I mean, it's a big county. It's a huge county.
It's a big county.
And they've got stuff from all over the place. Yeah. They've got to go see. So
here are some of the kind of the finer points that are pointed out in the story. So they drive their vehicles a lot for part-time jobs, more so in some years more so than I drive my daily vehicle, my personal vehicle, which I use for both work and personal reasons, and I do a good bit of traveling throughout the year as well. And so the finer points of the story, I think, are that whereas all the other county officials who are not elected and other staffers have to report their usage.
And they have to report if they take them
annually,
home. And they have to report if they take the vehicle home. They have to
That's
say,
right,
this, I'm
yeah.
taking it home. Here's the reason why. This is what we're doing.
And they don't have to report any of that.
They're on the honor system.
They are on the honor system,
Yes.
according to Gruber. And they also vote to approve that document where it shows all of the lists of approvals, times they took them home.
I'm just kind of surprised that, the other commissioners haven't said something to her and, sort of it's like, hey, you're getting a lot of cars. It seems to me like eventually that sort of behavior would bleed into everybody else feeling like they ought to get a new car every 2 or 3 years too. And, I get it. It's probably pretty nice to have it's nice to have a new car every 2 or 3 years. I get that.
True.
But I mean, is it the best use of taxpayer money? And that's really the question.
Yeah, no, I mean, it's a really good question when you consider how much they could have been reimbursed based on this year's, IRS. They base their personal vehicle usage reimbursement based on what IRS is.
Sure.
And this year it's 79 cents. And we compared just how, yes, that's right, per mile. Yeah. And we compared just how much that would have cost taxpayers to how much it cost taxpayers to purchase all the vehicles. Yeah. It would have cost significantly less.
Yeah, if they just used their own cars and gotten reimbursed 79 cents a mile, then they would cost tremendously less.
Yeah.
But, I get the fact that, look, it is a part-time job, and if they do have to run all the way out to, I believe it is the largest county east of the Mississippi River, so there's a lot of room to go, and I understand that maybe you don't want to tear your car apart, even if you're getting 79 cents a mile. It's still a tremendous amount of wear and tear. That said, it doesn't make a lot of sense when a couple of commissioners get one vehicle, and use it for 5 or 6, 7 years or 8 years or whatever, and then you get one person who keeps getting a new one constantly.
Every couple of years. So, I will say, just to end this, I don't think the story is fully. I think we're going to see a little more on this, and maybe someone will kind of push the needle on how they report that usage. Yeah. They do not have to report where they take the vehicles at any time. They simply have to report when they take it home and the mileage.
Well, I imagine if she's not using it on the up and up, it's going to come out pretty quickly in this race. Kyle, we have new rules for animals in the city, and there's a lot of discussion about what we're going to do about these loose animals, what kind of animals you can have, how many you can have.
Right.
What to do if they poop on the ground and you don't clean it up. All
these
things.
How much you pay? Yeah.
How much you pay? Where are we on this?
This thing has been sent to committee. They are not in effect yet by the city council. They're going to look into it more because they've had some questions come up in the public. Such as, what defines a high-risk dog?
A high-risk dog.
And how do you tether a snake? These are some things that have come up.
I have wondered that for years.
Yeah. Well, I think that
that's
harness,
what she said.
That's what she said.
Keep your snake in its cage.
A leash would not work for a snake. Like a harness or something that you could get more range on it would work. Like a long sock.
I don't know that's true.
That's what I think. I've never had a pet snake.
Conducted any experiments on this.
You can't knock it till you try it, Kyle.
Wait till I come back with a receipt from B&B Pet Store. We'll see, and we'll do some tests here. But these are some of the things. All silliness aside, there are some questions that folks have had. They have asked, like why are certain kinds of dog breeds high risk, and why does that come with some special rules that you have to have?
Yes.
There was one thing in this new set of rules, you can't have more than 5 dogs or 5 cats on a piece of property smaller than a half acre.
Right.
Yeah. That was a holdup for some folks.
Poor cat ladies everywhere are weeping.
They are up in arms.
Yeah.
Out there measuring their lot to see how many cats they can have, and who's going to be the cat,
cram in there.
The official city cat counter.
Right. And that's the thing, too, is folks are like, how is this going to be enforced? Because they've got...
Probably reactive than more reactive.
Look, I had a neighbor at an old place where I lived, and that person would claim constantly that they did not have any cats, that they had one cat.
Yeah.
But then would walk out on the porch and scream and holler for the cats, and then they would come dropping out of trees and all over the place. There were 15 cats on the porch.
Yeah.
And so, I mean, does anybody really own a cat? I don't know. But
I don't know. I think they're more roommates.
They're free spirits.
They're more of a roommate at that point.
I mean, I get the issue. You know, so obviously a lot of this issue has been pushed by the roaming dogs, the dogs that are
the
out
dog
there,
packs
that are out there attacking cats and other animals, and you know, basically feral animals, dogs that aren't being taken care of. But
and that's what the city has said they want to do with this is, you know, they want to put these higher fines in place, you know, to curb the irresponsible.
Well, I mean, are those roaming dogs even owned by anyone? I just thought they were wild.
That's the thing. Sometimes they are. Like we've seen that with some folks who went to the council before. Sometimes they are, and sometimes nobody knows where they come from.
Yeah.
They just get out. And that's what they want to curb here. But it's going to be in a committee of the city council later this month to fine tune it.
And they're trying to up the fees, the fines for your dog pooping outdoors, pooping in public and not cleaning it up.
Yeah, $100, 100 smackaroonies if you don't pick up after your dog.
I really would love to see the city that can't seem to find anybody for throwing garbage out the window tackle this dog poop situation as well.
Perhaps they'll do some DNA testing to see.
Well, you know, there's always
there is a service that does that.
Yeah.
Duty calls.
Duty calls.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's the name of
it.
it.
So you can prove it's your neighbor's dog. What do you have to like pull a hair out of it while it goes by?
I think you have to take a specimen sample, like similar to Cologuard.
Wow, that's nice.
Similar to Cologuard.
Maybe a smear.
Yeah, but you got to be able to. But you've got to be able to. I mean, you can't just take the poop. You have to have some kind of other DNA to prove it.
To compare.
Poop belongs to the dog.
Like some earwax or something.
And then you got to have DNA to believe the dog belongs to the person.
You're taking visiting your neighbors to a whole new level.
I'm just saying, you know, why are you around my dog with those tweezers? What are you doing? Yank a whisker out.
I have heard, we did a story on this like 2 or 3, like a high-end apartment complex hired these people to be their dog do detectives to figure out who was not picking up the poop.
Well, we will be on the lookout for a city contract for similar deals for duty calls.
I will just tell you this: there's a lot of dog poop out there that people aren't picking up.
Yeah, there's a lot of
at least
Popeyes
dog
cups
poop
too.
Actually goes away. The diapers and Popeye cups and take much
styrofoam
longer.
cups.
Those will
never
be
go
around
away.
for a little bit.
They never go away.
But we'll see what comes of this. I mean, these are some new rules that have folks howling and meowing and making different sounds, hissing.
Yeah, I mean, it's just one of those things where, you know, it's hard to legislate this thing away.
Yeah. Right. I mean, we've had a neighbor since I moved in that lets their dogs roam our neighborhood.
Yeah.
And they've been, these dogs have been very problematic. I'm not going to say how, but they've been very problematic.
There is a leash law in the city.
I grew up.
Nothing that has been done.
I grew up in a family where my parents just let our dogs run loose, and I had a dog that knocked everybody's garbage can over every week, you know, and I went and cleaned it up. He was a menace, but, you know, but there were no
fines. That Snoopy one or 3?
That was Chaka number 1. Chaka number 1. We renamed our dogs a lot. I don't know. Yeah. My mom ran over a lot of them. A lot of problems. Because they were running loose all the time. Anyway, they got run over quite a bit. Anyway, that's neither here nor there.
Yeah.
Well, I hope we'll end up with some good legislation to get this dog poop off the sidewalk and get these snakes in tethered.
Yeah,
properly tethered.
We'll see.
All right. Well, that's all we have this week, folks. We'll be back next week with the next episode of Lagnapod. Thanks for listening to us. Y'all have a great day.
The Lagnapod is a Something Extra publishing production. Executive producers are Rob Holbert and Ashley Charles. Music is by Some Pulse Sound and Electro Animals. Only subscribers like you have access to this podcast. Tell your friends they can sign up at my.wing@redbill.com. For advertising opportunities, please call 251-450-4466.